Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome to Thornton Farm. This is episode number 23, and welcome back to the episode. Now, you might be wondering, where in the world did we get the New Holland tractor, and where in the world did we get the Corona Big Baler? Well, ladies and gentlemen, these are both complements of the equipment store. The Corona baler is something that we are demoing here on our farm. Mr. Thornton is interested. I've often talked about the fact that Mr. Thornton is rather innovative in his older age. One might think, well, a guy that's been farming for all of his life and everything and living in this area would rather continue to do things smaller and smaller scale and everything than some of the big farms and everything. But he is all about, if it improves our efficiencies, if it helps us out, if it essentially brings in more money to the farm, then he is basically all about that. And so we have been talking for the last several months about trying to enhance or increase our efficiencies with baling, and specifically with baling silage bales that we then sell to local farmers throughout the Cotswolds. And this was something that he was rather interested in, and certainly basically tasked me with just essentially working with the local store and trying to get a piece of equipment that we could demo. And of course, our John Deere tractor is just fine. It should work for this application without any problems. But we also decided, they basically brought this down here with the New Holland and basically said, hey, if you're going to try out a newfangled baler, you might as well try out a newfangled, new updated piece of kit as far as the tractor is concerned as well. And of course, I jumped all over the opportunity to do just that. And so that's what we have here. Our customer that has essentially ordered these bales has essentially ordered the larger 1.5 size bells. These are 6,000 liter capacity bells, unlike the smaller 4,000 liter bells that we typically will do here on the farm. So these, like I said, are larger, and that's what our customer has ordered. And so we aim to please. And so we're going to go ahead and pull on back up here and grab another windrow. Now, just to kind of step out of character for just a moment, because I do want to talk a little bit about this baler, and about the fact that the last time that I used this baler, it was pretty darn slow. And of course, that was in the summertime time frame. I was still on Mountain View Farm, I believe, and never even put it on the episodes. Really just tried it out because this was probably my favorite mod from Farm Sim 15. This thing was a silage making king. I mean, this was, if you wanted to, especially if you were playing career mode and you wanted to basically make a lot of money quickly, this was the piece of kit that you needed to have on your farm to be able to basically mow and produce silage bales, and then be able to sell these silage bales. And I made hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on silage bales selling in Farm Sim 15. Well, this was rather slow to make its way to Farm Sim 17. If you basically are a fan of 17, then you know that right out of the gate, many mods, including Courseplay and GPS and Follow Me and some of our other equipment mods that we've all grown to love in 15, sort of started making their way into 17. Even Doug Zorley's Big M, the Corona Big M, made its way to Farm Sim 17 quite relatively early, but the Big Baler did not. And of course, I'm talking about this wrapping fool here, the Ultima. Let's see, what is the model number on this guy? It's the CF155XC. So there was a lot of speculation as to, well, why was that? Was this baler going to essentially be released as some sort of DLC? And of course, Aerosoft came out, partnered with the other company there to distribute the Corona pack that came out just a few weeks ago, and it was not part of that. But again, kind of going back to the summertime time frame, this mod was part of the Giants mod contest, and so it was released as the rest of those mods were in the early summer of 2017. Well, when I first experimented with it, when I first played with it, I absolutely did not enjoy the speed of which it operated. The fact that it slows down to a 2 to 3 mile per hour crawl. Now, I think one of the reasons why it's doing it here on that particular windrow of grass is because that was a combined row of grass. I think I raked that up with another row. So my rows, basically, you guys know that the rake that I use here is the four-wheel rake that basically combines about 3 or 4, I guess 4 rows of grass into one. In some of my testing, just doing here on Thornton Farm, I have, and these fields were ready to go. They were ready to be cut again, so they were at full growth and everything. That basically it does slow down quite a bit. But I guess all in all, if I think about it from the perspective that if I were going to essentially make these bells, silage bells, here on the farm, then clearly we would be raking and we would be baling, and then we would have to come along with the round baler. I think we've got the McHell here on this map. We would have to come along and wrap those bells. So it's still quite slow. I have found that if you increase the bell size up to 1.5, obviously that's what our customer wants, that's what they're getting. But if you increase the bell size up to 1.5, it tends to do a little bit better than if you have it set at the smaller bell size. And I think that where the performance of the baler really begins to suffer is in the wrapping stage. So obviously, as you know, this has a sort of a pre-press chamber that it begins to gather grass into while it does its movement of, once the bell reaches 6,000 liters, it begins to bell that. It moves it to the main chamber, or it moves it out to the wrapper. Well, while the baler is still continuing, it's bringing grass into the pre-press chamber, and then once the bell is kicked out, then it moves that to the main chamber. And so I think that is where things kind of get a little bit performance-wise a little bit bogged down maybe. Now, I did make a change to the XML file, which I don't really know if I see a difference in that with the gameplay, especially with the way that I have raked these bells or these rows. It is possible that if I used a smaller rake, say for example just the two-wheel or two-tine rake, that actually might allow smaller windrows, and therefore the baler would probably run a little bit faster. I will say this much, that with the modifications that I made to the XML file, and I'll talk just a little bit about that here in just a minute, putting a mower on the front of the tractor and essentially mowing and collecting on the back, you can pretty much drive this thing 8 to 10 miles per hour pretty much all time. But you know, who wants to do that, because that is going to be quite a lot slower process than maybe what we are accustomed to. But I think that maybe if you use a smaller rake, if that's doable for you, use a smaller rake and then just set your cruise control speed on about 4 or 5 miles per hour, then it should stay fairly consistent. It may bog down to about 3, but it should pick back up here momentarily, back up to 4. Seems like 4 miles per hour might be sort of the sweet spot. I don't know, but again, I think that if we're going to do baling, if we're going to wrap silage bells to sell and everything, I think that this probably still is, at the end of the day, a much more efficient process. So let me talk a little bit about the XML file change that I made. I'm not going to show you how to make the change, simply because I'm not going to take time to do that. But I will direct you to 3 Dudes Gaming Network. We've got a discussion going on in the question and answer section. If you go there If you look for a conversation about the Corona baler, you'll find where individual posted some comments about how he made a modification and it seemed to speed things up a little bit, and he confirms that as long as you keep the windrow size down considerably, that it will go ahead and perform at 5 to 6 to 7 miles per hour pretty much non-stop. But if you have thicker more robust windrows, kind of like what we're dealing with here, then it is going to perform a little bit slower as demonstrated. So Mr. Thornton, as I said, he is all about efficiency. He's all about improving things. If we can do things that are a little faster, that basically save fuel, save time, save man hours, and also be a little bit more friendly to the environment. So obviously, if we're gonna mow and if we're gonna wrap bales for silage purposes, our old way of doing things was basically either a one-person job that took a really long time to bale everything and then go back and change out the equipment and grab the wrapper and bring it down here and wrap and everything, or it could be a two-man operation, 2 tractors, but still, putting more pollution into the air, whether it's just one person doing it and just taking a long time to do it, or 2 people, 2 different tractors. So again, he's kind of okay with things that help us down here on the farm. And while a baler like this would be quite expensive, it would probably pay for itself in a couple of seasons of cutting grass, especially if we can take advantage of maybe leasing more fields, like the field that Lady Felicia allows us to lease, getting that and being able to take advantage of things like that will certainly help pay for something like this quite quickly, I believe. And so the new tractor, obviously this is not a new tractor to us. Again, it was just brought down here by the dealership. So we've, this episode has been about 12 minutes in, and there was probably 4 or 5 bells, maybe 6 bells on the field. So, in about 12 minutes or so, we've managed to make maybe 20 bells. I mean, that's not entirely too bad, I suppose. Again, you just kind of have to think about that. Even though things are moving a little bit slower, if you were to either set up follow me and come along behind with the wrapper, that's going to take some additional time. And so still, this is really cool, and I'm quite enjoying using this Corona here on this map. Now I'll tell you the real reason why I swapped out the tractor. Again, just to kind of jump out of role play here for a moment. When the Corona baler was connected to the John Deere tractor, the John Deere is a mod. This New Holland tractor is a default vanilla piece of equipment. But the PTO shaft was visible out here in the sky. It kind of looked like an angry bumblebee was kind of what I called it. And it kind of was distracting, and I wanted to sort of showcase, while this mod, some people may view this mod as having some problems because it seems to be slower than it was in Farm Sim 15. I wanted to showcase it without the crazy bumblebee flying around out there, and that's kind of what it looked like. So that is something to do with that tractor, the John Deere tractor. And so just to kind of make things quite simple for myself, I just leased the New Holland, so that's really where the money went, and I'll add the money back in once we return the equipment, because again, this is all about demo. But as you can tell, if this is something that you want to add to your farm, it is a nice unit. I don't know why it performed better in Farm Sim 15, unless that they have tried to make it a little bit more true to life in 17. But I will tell you that the Grassmen demonstrated the use of this baler behind a Case 1455. Now we've got a Case 1455 here on this map, and if you're familiar with Farm Sim 17, you know that that's an older model tractor. It's a smaller tractor as well. And they were pulling this thing around in a field, and of course it was a YouTube video, and it's kind of hard to judge the speed of which a tractor is going on a video, especially if you're not looking at the speedometer. But it looked like it was moving at what I would consider to be more normal pace for a baler at about 5 to 7 miles per hour, and it didn't have this really slow issue. So again, I think it is more or less down to windrow size, and if you keep those a bit smaller, then perhaps things will be better. Either that, or I suppose the other alternative would be is to just basically stop or slow down even slower than I think I've got my cruise set at 4. Slow down a little bit or stop while it's wrapping. I suppose we could further investigate maybe shortening the wrap cycle, which obviously might help a little bit there as well. But I don't want to change too much about the mod itself, just simply because well, I don't want to cause myself problems at the end of the day. But and I'll be honest with you, I really don't know what I'm doing half the time when I'm editing XML files. I mean, obviously I can read the files and I can make a change if somebody has said, yeah, if you make this change, it will it'll do this or it'll do that. But in any event, let's see, I guess I lifted my pickup up and forgot to put it back down. But anyway, it is what it is, and so it's going to produce us good 37 bales here, and these are the larger bales as well. Again, these are the 6,000 liter bales, and so this is going to be a pretty good paycheck for Mr. Thornton, of course, for the farm itself, and continue to help us fund all of the different aspects that we have going here for Thornton Farm. So I'm going to bounce out of character just a moment, just another opportunity here just to say thank you all so very much for supporting the channel through your subscriptions. I really do appreciate everyone that stumbles onto the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel by clicking that subscribe button, and if you want to be made aware of new videos, just click that little bell icon, and that way you'll get a notice whenever I upload a new video. But I'm uploading new videos almost every day. I am going to scale my release schedule back to about 6 episodes a week from 7, which I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, a video every day, sometimes 2 on Tuesdays. But the cattle and crops demo, the missions, is not going so well. There's an issue that I've run into, and I think I've talked about this in a previous video, so I won't talk about it any further on this one. But I'm sort of at a standstill with that until something changes. Now, Cattle and Crops did release a update. I forget what the update is right now, what the number is, but it just came out a couple of days ago, and I'm recording this video on the 15th of January. You're going to be watching it sometime towards the end of the month because I'm that far ahead of schedule. But needless to say, I am fully patched on the Cattle and Crops updates, and I don't know if it's fixed it. I haven't had a chance to test it. It was basically part of the when I had stumbled onto this issue. It was part of the update that I was running when I first started the mission. So not sure what is going on, but we'll try to figure it out, try to sort it out. It has to do with the forage mission, the mission for chopping the corn, and something is just not working right. I can't get the tractor and tipper to follow the forage harvester, and so obviously that's a problem because the forage harvester has no reservoir, it has no tank on it to capture the corn chaff, and so you need the tractor tipper to follow along with you, and I can't seem to get that to occur. So other people have had the same problem according to the forums, and so we'll figure it out, and we'll see if we can resume those missions, because I know a lot of folks were were interested in watching those and seeing how things were progressing with cattle and crops. And of course, I have been rather interested in that myself. And so we'll see what happens. But right now I'm producing 3 different series on this channel, all Farm Sim 17. That is this one, Thornton Farm, Midtown, USA, and then I just started a brand new series on Tazewell County, Illinois, and that is going to, for right now, I'm considering that map is replacing my 24 game day seasons challenge on Thornton Farm, at least for right now. I've not deleted that game save. It's basically right where I left off with it. And so, but I had the opportunity to play Tazewell County, Illinois when it was, this is version 2.0, and it has not been released as of January the 15th. Now that may change by the time you see this video, and hopefully it will, because I know a lot of folks are eager to get their hands on 2.0, but I had the opportunity to play that before it was released to the general public. I appreciate Eustace Farmer for basically helping me secure the ability to do that. So I appreciate Flatlander84 for giving me the opportunity to preview Tazewell County, Illinois. It is based on his childhood farm where he grew up and where he has spent probably countless hours working on the farm himself. And so we're playing that map pretty true to life based on what his visions and his ideas and everything are. Of course, I've scaled some of the equipment up just a little bit, only for the simple fact that it kind of helps make the gameplay go a little quicker. So I'm using the large John Deere plow. I'm going to use the large cultivator. I've upgraded some of the seeders to a little bit larger equipment, but we are also sticking with the actual crop types that are planted in this region, which are only soybeans, corn, and wheat. We will be running cows and pigs on this map at some stage as well, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm quite looking forward to having this map or being able to play this map and showcase this map on my channel and show it to all of you, and hopefully build up some hype so that you guys are wanting to go out and download it when 2.0 is released. And the plan is that it will be hosted on FSUK as well as on Giants Mod Hub, so look for it there. I don't believe that it will be available for PlayStation or Xbox, just simply because of some of the scripting and everything that's involved in it. So for you console guys, I'm sorry, but I don't think it will be available for console. At least I've not heard that it would be. And so for right now, consider that PC only. All right, well, folks, we are coming up on 25 minutes here with this series, with this episode. And while things are running rather slow, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this this episode up. I'm going to go back here and grab this other section of grass up here at the top of the farm, or top of the field, and then come back down. But anyway, I wanted to thank everyone for watching. Thank you all, as I have already said. Appreciate you guys being subscribers and liking my videos, watching my videos, posting comments in the video sections, as well as hanging out with me over on Discord and PCSG and Three Dudes Gaming Network, etc. I've met some really awesome, incredible, cool people as a result of the channel and my interactivities within social media and all of that kind of stuff related to Farm Sim. And I just want to thank all of you for those friendships. I value them immensely. I really genuinely mean that, and it has really helped to enhance my enjoyment of this game, Farm Sim genre, the agricultural based farming genre of simulation based games, and just really awesome people to hang out with on the forums and on Discord and sometimes on multiplayer and things like that. So really thankful to have that opportunity to get to know everybody and know everybody in that fashion. So looks like we're going to be getting 51 bells out of this field here. We've still got the field just down below to bell. That's obviously a smaller field, so maybe, I don't know, 75 to 80 bells. That's going to bring in a pretty good paycheck to Mr. Thornton. And I think when I tell him that we've managed to do this in the span of just a little over a half hour, maybe 40 minutes total, I think he's going to be quite interested in this and probably encourage me to maybe see what sort of options we can get as far as purchasing this particular baler, or at least one like it. So I'll keep you all posted on how that goes. And until next time, I will just say thank you all so much for watching my videos. I appreciate that. Take very good care of yourselves and also of each other, and come back again very soon for another video here on Thornton Farm, Tazewell County, or Midtown, USA. Until next time, speak to you all very soon. Goodbye and God bless.